if you are claiming that you are selfless, first, your selflessness should begin with the service of the Lord. If you're not serving the Lord, then you cannot say that you are selfless. You're still selfish. Satsang begins in the association of devotees. As a sadhaka, remaining alone is also a satsang. Akele rehna bhi a satsang. In the sadhaka stage, one has to stay always in association. There should be no such thing as private life. Private life is only meant for Haridas Thakur, not for sadhakas. So similarly, selfless life begins, or selfless life is limited to the service of the Lord, or starts with the service of the Lord. Without serving the Lord, you cannot say that I am selfless. Some people say that I am very selfless. All I did, everything which I did was for my society, my relatives, my loved ones, my family. अपने लिए तो कभी कुछ नहीं किया. I sacrificed my life. I think after Jesus Christ, I am the next selfless person. Everybody thinks like this. What I'm doing? My whole life is dedicated for my parents, my family, my society, my manager, my office, my dog. I'm not living for myself. But Prabhupada calls this as the most selfish thing. Extended selfishness. So selflessness means you have to serve the Lord first. No one can claim that they are selfless without serving the Lord. Satisfaction comes in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday I was discussing with some students, first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So there, Krishna starts Arjuna, as and when, I think in verse number 20, he says, "Oh my dear Acyuta, take my Ratha in the middle so that I can see who are these people who are Yodhu Kaman, who have come with a desire to fight evil-minded sons of Rashtra. I want to see them." And then, as he's seeing, before Arjuna was ready to fire an arrow, and then as he starts seeing, he starts becoming disturbed, dissatisfied, and then he starts using the word Rishikesha, Govinda, and all those things. So there Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely that what is the meaning of Rishikesha? Master of all the senses. What is the meaning of Govinda? One who gives pleasure to the senses. So if a person is approaching Govinda thinking that, okay, I have approached you, now you give pleasure to my senses, that is wrong. We are meant to give pleasure to the senses of Govinda. And when we do that, our senses get pleasure. That is Krishna consciousness. Living entities are meant for assisting in the cooperative enjoyment of Krishna. And the more living entities cooperate to give pleasure to the senses of Krishna, the more they float in ecstasy. This is what the meaning of the word Govinda is. Govinda is not your servant. That you say Govinda, 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 and immediately you will get from Tirupati Laddu, which will please your senses. No. Govinda means that whenever we chant the name Govinda, means all my life should be dedicated to serve the senses of Govinda. And when I do that, then I will truly understand what the word Govinda means, and then I will float in ecstasy. So the root cause of dissatisfaction here, as highlighted by Narad Muni in the next chapter, is you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of Krishna. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of Krishna is considered worthless. So Narad Muni is spot on. He comes and says, you have written so much philosophy, man. But this philosophy is giving happiness to the whole world. It is explaining the Vedic conclusion to the whole world. But the pure devotees of the Lord and the Lord are not satisfied by reading this. Therefore, you are dissatisfied. This is the root cause of our dissatisfaction in life. We are not as perfect as Vyasdev. We are not as austere as Vyasdev. We are not as disciplined in our vratas and vows like Vyasdev. Something we are trying to do in life. One similarity between Vyasdev and us. At this point of time, Vyasadeva was not trying to exclusively satisfy the devotees of Krishna and Krishna. Same thing we are doing. At this point of time, we are not trying to exclusively satisfy devotees of Krishna and Krishna. We are doing so many things. That is why we are dissatisfied. Of course, what Vyasadeva is doing is a pastime. Accidentally, if you meet Vyasadeva, you should not tell, hey, don't be dissatisfied today. I'm not dissatisfied. So that is no problem. Vyasadeva is Krishna himself as a Satya Vaishnava. So, this is the problem in Vyasadeva right now. Because he has composed some Vedic literature, following extreme discipline, extreme vows, which is meant for the overall general welfare of the whole humanity, but because he has not exclusively created a philosophy or created a literature which pleases the transcendental senses of the Lord and his devotees, therefore he is dissatisfied. So this is the root cause of his dissatisfaction, our dissatisfaction. In the next verse number 27, if you can all open, it says, Nati prasidat dridayah saraswatyas tates shuchau vitarkayan viviktastha idam chovacha dharmavit. The sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect. Because he knew the essence of religion, he said within himself. So, due to some reason, the translation of the second line is missing in this translation. Saraswatyas tates shuchau. That means he was sitting at the banks of river Saraswati in a very pure state. Shuchau. Shuchau, see the word meaning? Being purified. So, Nati prasida dridayah, he is thinking, the sage being dissatisfied at heart, sitting at the banks of river Saraswati in a ritually pure condition. It is very important to be ritually pure also. Do you know this? Cleanliness is both external as well as internal. Sometimes we become transcendental. We ignore external cleanliness. Or sometimes we become only external. We ignore internal cleanliness. There is a very nice verse in Bhagavad Gita which says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam. After that, this verse I was telling to one Bengali yesterday. See, Krishna says he can. So he said, yes, I know. The word Ashnami, you see the translation. I was showing you. Ashnami means eating. So that means Krishna is eating fruits also, flower also, roots also, and water also. We Bengalis also eat everything. Definitely Krishna must be Bengali. I was shocked. So that gave a different perspective to this verse. Jol khave. Bengali says. So Krishna is eating Ashnami. The word Ashnami means to eat. Patram, pushpam, phalam, everything I'm eating. Yes, that is a different perspective, different revelation. So, in that verse, the Acharyas explain, or Prabhupada explain, whom does Krishna accept the offering from? He need not be necessarily a Bengali. Krishna accepts loving offerings which are offered with love by those devotees who are ritually clean, ritually pure, and who are genuine devotees. Genuine devotees means those who are devotionally inclined 24/7. Not that I'm just behaving like a complete materialist, but as soon as when it comes the time for offering prasadam, suddenly and then I come and offer with full bhav. And I'm meditating, oh, this is 12 o'clock right now, so Krishna must be in the Radha Kund. My dear Lord, please accept this prasadam. No, you have to be a genuine devotee. Means throughout the day, you have to be a devotee. So those who are genuine devotees and those who are ritually clean, that means their body is clean, their consciousness is clean, their clothes are clean. Krishna is an ultra clean personality. You can't say, I'm such a nice devotee. It doesn't matter if my clothes are not clean. I'll offer. Krishna sees bhava. Bhava comes only when you follow the discipline of external circumstances first. First we have to become externally clean, then only we can become internally clean, at least in the sadhaka stage. So here, why I'm speaking all this, because Sarat Swatyas Tate Shucho. Now Vyasdev is in deep meditation and he's trying to think what's going wrong. In order to meditate also properly, you need to be ritually clean. If you want to chant nicely, or if you want to read Bhagavatam nicely, or if you want to write down your thoughts nicely, you have to take bath first. Nice thoughts come in the bed, especially when it is 4:30 a.m. Especially when the mind is convinced you have worked so hard. It's so cold. Prabhupada said that you should have bath with cold water. So my health is not good. Cold water bath means after sunrise only. So I should remain in the bed. I will chant. I'm telling what some students tell me. I will remain in the bed and I will chant. I will do Manasi Puja, just like that Brahmana was doing in true devotion. And then they chant also. One round they chant, and after that they go in deep samadhi. So no, we are not supposed to do all that. Saraswatyas Tate Shucho. Vyasdev had some problem in life. He followed his regulative principles. He did his Nitya Karma. He got up. He cleaned himself. He was sitting at the banks of Saraswati. And then Vitarkayan Viviktastha. And then he's rationally thinking, not emotionally thinking. Rationally thinking. Why? Because Idam Chovacha Dharma. He's the knower of Dharma. He has compiled all the Vedic literature, Dharmic literatures. So he knows what is Dharma. Because he knew the essence of religion and he said within himself. So the sage began to search out the cause of not being satisfied at heart. So every spiritual seeker should think in this direction. Where I am going wrong? Where I am missing something? What is that offense which is happening which I am not realizing also? I need to correct it. A spiritual practitioner should never become satisfied with their spiritual life. Ever. One should be never satisfied with their japa or spiritual practices. One should never be satisfied with the reading of Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhagavad Gita which they are doing in the association of devotees. One should be never satisfied with the amount of charity which they are giving. These are the injunctions, Vedic injunctions. Now you see, this is a very historic statement which Prabhupada is telling. Perfection is never attained until one is satisfied at heart. And this satisfaction of heart has to be searched out beyond matter. Such a beautiful line. You may try to become perfect, but until you are satisfied at heart, no matter how much you try, no matter how much everybody claps for you, you will never become perfect. Perfection is never attained until one is satisfied at heart. And satisfaction of heart is beyond matter. So Srila Prabhupada calls the general public of this world as 4 categories: pigs, camels, dogs, donkeys. The general people of this world, Srila Prabhupada categorizes in 4 categories. Why Prabhupada calls them pigs? What is the characteristic of pigs? No discrimination. कुछ भी खाते हैं, किसी के साथ भी कुछ भी करते हैं. People are like that. They're like pigs. No discrimination. And Next animal is donkey. I don't need to explain. We are all donkeys. Donkey means one image of donkey is coming that the master has tied a stick and on the stick the carrot is hanging. And the donkey is thinking little bit more, that one extra step, that one extra mile, little bit more, and then he never gets it. Prayas. One who does atyahar and prayas is called donkey. Next animal is camel. Why camel? What is the specialty of camel?
Eats its own
Stool.
Eats its
Ah.
own blood.
Eats its own blood and does not even realize. So people have made sense gratification as the goal of their life. And due to that, they are going into deeper and deeper illusion and they are not realizing it. That is the camel situation. And then dog. What is the specialty of dog? Huh? Namaste. Barking.
Need a master.
Need a master. A dog is considered a very lusty animal, a very sinful animal also. If a dog glances at the bhoga which is being offered, the bhoga becomes unofferable. That is how sinful the dog is. A dog is so sinful, Srila Prabhupada tells in one lecture that if the dog finds a tulsi plant, he will simply come and urinate on it. Or if a Shivalinga, he will simply come and urinate on it. That is how sinful creature the dog is. So those who are very lusty, very sinful, they get a dog's body in their next. So sinful existence, lusty existence is also called as dog. Now let's say 2 dogs, 3 pigs, 2 camels, and 5 donkeys are clapping for you. How will you feel? What is the value of their claps? And they're giving you a Nobel Prize, legal. And what will the pig appreciate in you? He's dirtier than me. I like him. What the camel will appreciate? He can do more sense gratification than me. I like his association. He inspires me to become more sense gratified in life. What will the dog like in you? He's lustier than me. Wow. And then what will the donkey like in me? Like in you? He's really committed.
Much foolish than me.
Much more foolish than me. Yeah. Somebody who's getting exploited more than me also. Still he's continuing. He's my inspiration. So there is no value when such people, when camels, dogs, donkeys, and pigs, they give some definition of perfection, and one is going through that definition. So Srila Prabhupada is telling perfection is never attained until one is satisfied at heart. Satisfaction is beyond the search of matter. Narad Muni, in the next chapter, I'm stealing some verses from next chapter, tells that even if you are not perfect, you can still become satisfied. He gives a verse. He says, Tadvat Visargo Janatar Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhadavatyadi Namani Anandasya Yashwamkitani Shrimanti Gayanti Sadhavaha. The use of words which are not perfect. Some people say perfection gives happiness, but Narad Muni is disagreeing. The use of words in which, though not perfectly composed, there are names of the Lord and descriptions of His glories, which devotees hear, sing, and again receive, destroys all the sins of the people. This gives satisfaction. Don't think that if you become perfect at doing something in life, that will make you satisfied. No. Even if you are imperfect, with your imperfect efforts, insufficient efforts, struggling efforts, if we are able to do something which is giving happiness to whom? Sadhavaha. Shrinvanti, Gayanti, Grinanti, Sadhava. Somehow please the sadhus. Even if your effort is not perfect, that is satisfaction. So what Vyasadeva has done is perfect. Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads. But because he did not give pleasure to the sadhus, Srinvanti, Gayanti, Rananti sadhu. So therefore Narad Muni is highlighting this in the next verse, that my dear student, Vyasadeva, even if your composition is imperfect, but if it contains the exclusive glorification of Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, then it will give pleasure to the sadhus, and then it will give pleasure to you. If it is not giving pleasure to the sadhus, that means you are trying to get perfection within matter. That means you are at the level of mind, intelligence, and ego, which is matter. But if you are trying to give pleasure to the sadhus and Bhagwan, that means you have gone beyond the realm of matter, and that is what Prabhupada is saying. Satisfaction of heart has to be searched beyond matter. So, no need to satisfy the pigs, the camels, the dogs, and the donkeys. Try to satisfy the sadhus. We are not here to satisfy the pigs, camels, donkeys, and the dogs. We are here to satisfy Krishna and the devotees of Krishna. So, therefore, in our Mangalarti song, every day we sing Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado, Yasya Prasadan Nagati Kutopi. By satisfying the senses of the spiritual master, by satisfying the spiritual master, Radha and Krishna are pleased. By satisfying the sadhus, Radha and Krishna are pleased. But by not satisfying the sadhus, Radha and Krishna are certainly displeased. So the principle of satisfaction is to become a servant of the servant and not to become a perfect person, a perfect athlete or a perfect poet or a perfect singer or a perfect money maker. That is perfection. One should not be hankering for perfection also. One should just be hankering that in some way or the other, I have to just satisfy the souls. Because satisfaction is beyond matter. This is discussed in verse 27. Verse 28 and 29. You see how systematically Vyasadeva is analyzing. His analysis is not an ordinary analysis. Dhritavrtena hi maya chandamsi guravognyah manita nirvyalikena grihitam chanushasanam bharata vyapadeshena ya amnayarthascha pradarshitah drishyate yatra dharmadi stri shudraadibhirapyata. I have under strict disciplinary vows unpretentiously, that means without cheating, without becoming a hypocrite. Worship the Vedas. What all I have done? I have worshipped the Vedas, worshipped the spiritual masters, and the altar of sacrifice. Why altar of sacrifice? It will be explained. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of Mahabharata, by which even the women, Shudras, and others, friends of twice born, can see the path of religion. Purport. No one can understand the import of the Vedas without having undergone strict disciplinary vow and disciplic succession. Very important. What is the import of the Vedas? What is our general understanding when we say, let's say somebody meets you outside the center and tells, Sir, please explain me what is the import of Sanatana Dharma? Or what is the import of the Vedas? Or what, summarize Bhagavad Gita in one line, what will you say? To become a devotee of Krishna, okay? Do everything for the pleasure of the Lord. Anything else? To become an eternal servant of the Lord. Sorry? Pure devotional service to the Lord. To understand our constitutional position. To follow disciplic succession. Surrender to Krishna. Yeah, so these are the imports. Now, how have you understood all this? Have you read all the Vedas? How have you understood this? Huh?
Essence of all because of Srila Prabhupada.
Because of Srila Prabhupada. Is that the only answer?
Yes. First of all, we haven't understood.
Somebody is telling you have heard it, but you have not understood. Srila Prabhupada, almost in every lecture, he quotes this verse. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite kathita hyartha prakashante mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith, both in the Lord and the spiritual master. That means you need to have full faith, or you have to become a devotee of Krishna and Guru. You should have implicit faith, not just in Guru, not just in Krishna, but both. Then what will happen? All the imports of the Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed. So no one can understand the import of the Vedas without having undergone what? A strict disciplinary vow and disciplic succession. So okay, we understand that to understand the import of the Vedas, we need to have faith in two personalities. Who are they? Krishna and Guru. But even to be able to do this, like Mataji is telling, we have heard all this but not understood. So even to be able to digest and apply it in our life, because Srila Prabhupada says, practice of philosophy is higher than philosophy itself. So to be able to practice this philosophy, what do we need to do? Srila Prabhupada says in the first line, strict disciplinary vow and disciplic succession. What is the meaning of disciplic succession? Evam parampara prapta imam rajashya guru. So yes, we have to come under a guru disciplic succession. Without coming under a disciplic succession, it is not possible to understand the import of the Vedic literature. You may know it, but you will not be able to apply it. Sometimes most of the people don't even know also what is Sanatana Dharma, what is Vedic culture. Simply they say some nonsense. So to understand the import of Vedic literature, first one needs to have faith in Guru and Krishna. Then they have to be connected to a parampara. And what is the third step? Strict disciplinary vow. Now what does that mean? Of what?
Whatever spiritual master says.
Whatever spiritual master says. Whatever spiritual master says, yeah. That is called discipline. Srila Prabhupada often quotes, disciple means discipline. Without becoming disciplined, one cannot become a disciple. And one who is not a disciple is unfortunate. In one letter, he is quoting, I have noted from here. Disciple means disciplined. Without discipline, there cannot be any spiritual progress. Therefore, our system is to follow the authority or our superiors. Not that we can independently question, not this is right or that is wrong. That is not the way. One who is a disciple has to be disciplined. And one who is not a disciple, his life is chaotic. He can never be happy. This is called discipline. And all of you have summarized the sages of Kali Yuga sitting here. They have summarized that discipline means strictly following what Guru says. When we follow what Guru says, we get Yasya Prasada. We get their mercy. In another letter, Srila Prabhupada writes, in the Vaishnav standards that I have set forth, in these Vaishnav standards that I have set forth lies the strength of the entire parampara. Before that, he says everybody should wake up at 4 a.m., have a bath, attend the Mangalarti, chant their rounds, read my books, chant minimum 16 rounds on beats, not on clicker. Prabhupada always says beats. I don't know why he says, but he has said beats. You have to follow. 16 rounds we can do on beats. If you want to chant another 16, it is up to you. Whether you continue on beads or clicker, but 16 on beads. He says 16 rounds minimum on beads, Mangalarti, Bhagavatam class, or reading Bhagavatam, 16 rounds minimum, following the four great principles. And then he writes, in these Vaishnava standards that I have set forth lies the strength of the entire parampara. That means if we follow, then we get the strength of the entire parampara. Yes. And if we don't follow, then what will happen? Fall down. Strength will not be there. So growth will not be there. And then we will start thinking, what is this spiritual life? Material life was far better than that. So yeah, we have to follow. And those who are not strict, very serious situation. I'll read one verse and then we will appreciate the importance of being strict. Let me pull it out. This verse is specifically meant for myself. Give me 1 minute. I was trying to search my notes. Difficult to search anything. This is meant for brahmacharis. In the third canto, chapter 14, shloka number 20, Srila Prabhupada says, unless there is a rigid and systematic training of the brahmachari by the expert spiritual master, and unless the student is obedient, it is sure that the so-called brahmachari will fall prey to the attack of sex. This is the meaning of discipline. What is rigid and systematic training has to be there. That means no compromise in sadhana and non. And systematic means it should be under the guidance of the entire Guru Parampara. Expert spiritual master should be also. Sometimes people have an expert spiritual master, but because people are not having two qualities, they are not Saumya and they are not Snigdha. Sutta Goswami is glorified by the sages of Naimisharanya to have two qualities due to which he has been able to digest everything which his spiritual masters taught him, especially Shukdev Mishra, because he was Saumya and he was Snigdha. Saumya means one who is humble, gentle, and Snigdha means one who is very affectionate, submissive, and pure in their attachment to their spiritual master. So even if you have an expert spiritual master, until unless you become Saumya and Snigdha, you will not be able to get what the spiritual master is giving. So two aspects. First, there has to be a rigid and systematic training. This is all under discipline. Huh? Next, expert spiritual master. And then third is obedience. Unless the student is obedient, three things are here. First, rigid and systematic training. Second, expert spiritual master, and third, obedience. If these three things are not there, it is sure. That means there is no doubt, no matter who you are, it is sure that the brahmachari will fall prey to the attack of sex. 3, 14, 20. Now that is the summary of discipline. And Vedavyas was a highly disciplined person. So coming back to today's verse, where it is being discussed that without a strict disciplinary vow, Vedavyas never missed his rounds. Vedavyas never missed his morning program. Vedavyas did not miss his reading session, Zoom, whatever we do. Vedavyas never missed his Sunday feast, strict disciplinary vow. And he was in disciplic succession also. And because he had firm faith in Guru and Krishna, therefore he had the import of the Vedas revealed. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito had happened. That is the position of Vedavyas. Please understand. The Vedas, the spiritual masters, and the sacrificial fire must be worshipped by the desiring candidate. All these intricacies of Vedic knowledge are systematically presented in the Mahabharata for the understanding of the woman class, the laborer class, and the unqualified members of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya families. In this age, Mahabharata is more essential than the original Vedas. So, have you tried to read Bhagavatam and have you tried to read Mahabharata? Anybody has tried? Which one do you find more interesting? Say honestly. Huh? Which one do you find more interesting, Bhagavatam or Mahabharata? Bhagavatam. Shudras, they are more interested in reading Mahabharata. I also have more interest in Mahabharata. Because Bhagavatam requires patience. You have to read again and again and again to understand. And one needs to kick out all the cheating religion, come at the pure devotional platform. It is not so interesting for me. But Mahabharata is wow. When I was down with, I think, some fever or some dengue, I had this Mahabharata book with me. I was amazed. I was reading for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours in a day. I've never read Bhagavatam so much. Then I realized it is meant for the, what does he say? Unqualified members of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, and the Vaishya families. So, if somebody has a natural interest in Mahabharata more, they should understand that their condition is not so good. So, what Vyasadeva has done is amazing. All these Dvija and other classes of people were actually not inclined for Vedic study or Vedic cultivation. He created a literature through which everybody is now following the principles of Dharma. In my village, there people are fan of Yudhishthir Bhishma Samvad. Bhishma has been talking to Yudhishthir. A summary of that has been given in Bhagavatam. The essence of that section is Krishna wanted to show how great Bhishma is. So he took Yudhishthir to Bhishma. And when Bhishma explained to Yudhishthir that, okay, you should continue your kingdom and you should not give it up, then Yudhishthir agreed. When Krishna was trying to explain, he was not agreeing. Krishna wanted to see how glorious my devotee is. And then Bhishma Deva's prayers come. But before that, he gives some instructions. Bhagavatam gives a snapshot. But if you read Mahabharata, full detail is given. What to eat, what not to eat, how to sleep, how not to sleep, how to have bath, how not to have. Everything is explained. So my village people, big fan of that. They made a whole book out of it. One place they have stuck this. Bhishma Dev has said by doing these things, lifespan decreases. Bhishma Dev says by eating these things, this happens. Bhishma Dev, and they have no interest in Bhagavad. They have so much interest in Mahabharata. So you see, this is the expertise of Vyasadeva. What I'm trying to highlight here is not that immediately start selling Mahabharata for book marathon. No, what I'm saying is just see how Vyasdev is so great. That subject matter which is unpalatable, which people don't want, is made them palatable. He's not an ordinary person. And therefore he is thinking, under strict disciplinary vows, unpretentiously I have done my seva. I have abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of Mahabharata. The demigod society is eternally grateful to Vedavyas for having written Mahabharata. And they were in the heavenly planets. They keep reading Mahabharata day in and day out. Their Mahabharata is much bigger than our Mahabharata in terms of verses. So they are extremely grateful. So this is not an ordinary thing to do. Even Narada says you have done great work by creating Mahabharata, but still he is not satisfied. So the essence of this verse is that even if you are disciplined, even if you have strictly followed all the disciplinary vows, even if you are in the Guru Parampara, what else? Disciplic succession, disciplinary vows, and even if you understand the import of the Vedic literature, still if you are not exclusively glorifying Krishna, still you will be disciplined. See, one by one, these series of verses are presenting, no matter how extremely, exceptionally perfect you become, until you come to the platform of pleasing Krishna and the devotees of Krishna, no matter what you do, you will not be happy. That is the step-by-step revelation which is coming in this series of verses. Verse number 30. Tathapi bata me daihyo hya atma chaivatmana vidhuhu asampanna iva bhati brahma varchasya sattamaha. I'm feeling incomplete, though I'm myself fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. Perfect. Undoubtedly, Srila Vyasadeva was complete in all details of Vedic achievements. That means there is nothing which was left for him to achieve. Purification of the living beings submerged in matter is made possible by prescribed activities in the Vedas. But the ultimate achievement is different. That means it is saying purification of the living entity who is submerged in matter is made possible by following the dharma, artha, kama, moksha instructions given in the Vedas. But the ultimate achievement is different. What is that ultimate achievement? Prema. Unless that is attained, or unless it is attained, the living being, even though fully equipped, cannot be situated in the transcendentally normal stage. What is this transcendentally normal stage? Huh? Yes, constitutional position is Jivera Swarup hai, Krishna Nityadas. That is normal for us. Srila Vyasadeva appeared to have lost the clue and therefore felt dissatisfaction. So, without prema bhakti, no one can be satisfied. That is what is being hinted here. And give me the names of some achievers from Bhagavatam or from outside Bhagavatam. Some names of some achievers. Don't straight away say Prabhupada. My whole discussion, Prabhupada, okay, if you say Prabhupada, he has achieved prema. I'm talking about those people who achieved something extremely great for which all the pigs, the camels, the donkeys, and the dogs are clapping. Very good. He achieved something which is beyond our imagination. Very recently, some short video has come out. There is one studio called Yukta Vairagi Studio. Earlier they made Kailash and Narad Muni. Now they have made Dhruva. Some Dhruva the prince or something. Very nice. Exactly what written in Bhagavatam they have tried to do. Of course, the animation is not as perfect as our Mahavatar Narasimha, but it is nice, it is there. So it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam when Dhruva was chastised by Suruchi, when he was crying and he was hissing like a snake. So that effect they have created. The breathing is they're giving the sound of a snake, and then how he's crying, and how his mother tells him that even if somebody does something bad to you, you should not wish bad for them. And then very nicely they have described the mind of Dhruva, and then how he runs into the forest, and Narad Muni tests him. Then Narad Muni teaches him the process of Ashtanga Yoga, and ultimately teaches him to meditate on Krishna. But then as he gets the darshan of the Lord, what does he say? Yes, Thana Bhilashi Tapasi Sthito. In the Abhilasha of a sthan, which is greater than Brahma also, I sat down in Tapasi Sthito. Tvam Praptavan Deva Muni Indra Guhyam. I have attained you, who are unattainable or very secret for Devas, Munis, and even Indra. Kachan Vichinvan Api Divya Ratnam. I had a desire to get a kingdom greater than my father, greater than my grandfather, greater than my great grandfather. But now that desire of having such a kingdom appears like a broken piece of glass after having got your darshan, which appears to be like a priceless jewel. Swamin Kritarthosmi Param Yach. My dear Lord, I am fully satisfied. I don't want anything now. This is the beginning of satisfaction in the Lord's life. So that is what we have to understand, that satisfaction ultimately requires loving devotional service. Unless we come to this platform of ahaituki apratihata bhakti, satisfaction is not possible. Whether you get connected to Guru Parampara, whether you follow strict disciplinary vows, whether you get the import of the entire Vedic literature, whether you create Mahabharata, or whether you become B.R. Chopra, or whatever. It is not possible to be satisfied until you render your devotional service. And the same thing is continued in verse number 31, which is the last verse of the day. This verse is very illustrious verse. Kimva bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupitaha priyaha paramahamsanam taeva he achyuta priyaha. This may be because I did not specify. He is beginning to conclude now. This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service to the Lord of the Lord, which is dear to both the perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. Two people like bhakti. Who are they? The infallible Lord and the devotees, who are the perfect beings. What are the words for them? Acyuta is the word for the Lord, and Paramahamsanam, perfect beings. Priyaha Paramahamsanam taeva hiya Acyuta priyaha. So because I have not specifically pointed out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear to both the Paramahamsas and the Lord, therefore I am still dissatisfied. So you see how gloriously Vyasadeva has concluded. What Vyasadeva has concluded sitting at the banks of Saraswati in maybe 2-3 minutes, for other people, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Gyanvan Mam Prapadyate, Vasudevam Sarvam Iti Sarvam. Many lifetimes. And you should see how step by step he is progressing in his understanding. He said, I have compiled everything, still not satisfied. I have done all these things, still strict disciplinary vows, import of the Vedas, still not satisfied. Guru Parampara, still not satisfied. Oh, that means I am not glorified. So this is how analysis should be done. Purport. The dissatisfaction which was being felt by Srila Vyasadeva is expressed here in his own words. This was felt for the normal condition of the living being in devotional service of the Lord. Unless one is fixed in the normal condition, it's very strange, no? Prabhupada keeps writing normal. He makes us feel, oh man, normal. We They are absolutely not normal. Unless one is fixed in the normal condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can be fully satisfied. Another twist. I thought that the Lord is Atmaram, He is always fully satisfied. ये क्या है? Until unless I come in my normal condition, neither the Lord is happy nor I am happy. How to understand this? Lord is always happy, no? Me rendering service to Him is my choice, my free will, which I will never execute. How the Lord is unhappy because of that. By seeing us, we are conditioned, He is unhappy. Any other answer? Let's see what the other sages say. Sages of Kali Yuga.
He's expecting our
He's our father.
Huh?
He's our father, and when he sees us doing all these nonsense,
Yes. Both the sages have said something similar. Yes.
He's expecting our loving exchange.
He expects our loving exchange. Why?
Because he is loving us unconditionally.
Because He is loving us unconditionally. But why? We are not loving Him. He's a big fool. Life after life, He's simply loving us.
Can't see us suffering.
Can't see us suffering. Why?
Part and parcel.
he's merciful because he's
Yes, part and parcel. He's merciful. All the sages have correctly answered. The sages of Panathur. Because the Lord wants us to be happy. And He knows we cannot be happy until unless we serve Him. That is why until we come in our normal condition of service, neither He is happy nor I am. I am not happy because I am not happy. That is clear. He is not happy because I am not happy. This is the reason. Unless one is fixed in the normal condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can become fully satisfied. So this can be very nicely understood from the Vedic literature also. There is a book called as Brihad Bhagavatamrita, authored by Sanatana Goswami, which Srila Prabhupada writes in this purpose that if somebody wants to understand Sambandha Gyan, they should read Brihad Bhagavatamrita. If somebody wants to understand the devotees and the relationship amongst devotees, one should read Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So in that there is a pastime where there is this Gop Kumar who is ascending to the higher planets slowly and slowly. All names actually belong to Krishna. Others have taken loan from Krishna. Indra, the name belongs to Krishna. Agni name belongs to Krishna. Sai name also belongs to Krishna. Others have taken loan from Krishna. All glories of Krishna are not known to us. It will be revealed when the right time comes. Yes. So, what I was saying? Yeah. So, the Gop Kumara, he reaches the Vaikuntha planet. And then the description is there, how he feels is there. At that time, Narayan speaks to him. He speaks to him, my dear Gopa Kumara. I was going in depression, thinking that you will never think of me. I was hopeless. Hope was making me dance crazy, thinking that maybe in this lifetime you will worship me, maybe in this lifetime you will become my devotee, and maybe in this lifetime you will think of me. I never forgot you, but you forgot me. Just to make you remember me, sometimes I gave you birth in this place, sometimes in Govardhan, sometimes in my dham, sometimes in my devotees association. Hope had me dancing crazy. This is how Narayan is speaking. And now that you have looked towards me, and now that you have come back to me, I am the happiest person. Who is speaking like this? Not Gokumara. So from this we get evidence from the Shastra that the Lord is hopelessly in love with us, madly in love with us. We cannot understand how He loves us also, how much He loves us. He's so transcendently foolish that no matter how many times we have cheated Him in so many lifetimes, He still trusts us whenever we say that, my dear Lord, this time I will do bhakti. please take me out from the womb of my mother this time. This life, if you give me birth, I will do. He's like, "Karega na?" And then again we cheat. So that is the stage at which the Lord loves us. So therefore, until unless we come in our normal condition of service, He is not happy. And we are also not happy. Read this line very carefully. Unless one is fixed in the normal condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can become fully satisfied. This defect was felt by him when Narad Muni, his spiritual master, reached him, and it is described as. So, how to get into my normal? What is my normal condition? How to serve Krishna? How to serve Krishna, practically speaking. 64 angas of bhakti. 64 karenge happy now. People can do it also. No? Let's not. Sages of Panathur can do it. 64 angas. I think 80% of it they do every day.
Ekanga Bhakti, then 9 angas of Bhakti, at least 64 somewhere here.
Panchang is also. Ekang, Panchang, Navang, Chausatang. So yeah, you can actually we all are executing 64 angas of 80% of the 64 angas we are executing daily. Anybody who attends the full morning program is doing 80% of 64 angas per day. You can read Nectar of Devotion and you will see, yes, I'm doing it. Tick, 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 tick. You are actually. That's how Prabhupada has made the plan. Remaining 20% gets over in book distribution. You see, so many books are there. Panathur always keeps leading book distribution. So, how to practically serve Krishna? Of course, Ekanga Bhakti, Panchang Bhakti, Navanga Bhakti is there. All that we are doing. One thing which is very practical and very easy, even if I am struggling at Panchang Bhakti, Ekanga Bhakti, Navanga Bhakti, one thing which I can do very easily is that I can serve the devotees of Krishna. It is not difficult to do. Chanting is difficult. How many of you feel chanting is difficult? At least I feel. It's not easy. It's not easy. How many of you feel reading Bhagavatam is difficult? It's not easy. How many of you feel that everything in Bhakti is difficult? It's not. Agreed. But how many of you feel serving the devotee next to you is not so difficult?
It's very difficult.
Very difficult.
To satisfy the devotee.
Huh? We are not satisfied, the devotee is not satisfied. That is because normal condition is not there. So normal people can satisfy each other.
You know how to express.
Even if we are struggling at our execution of devotional principle, we should continue, and it is helping us actually. Krishna will be pleased more than when we serve his devotees rather than serving him by Ekang, Panchang, Navang. Best example is Maharaj Pratap Rudra. He was a great devotee of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Any doubt about his devotion? Anybody has? He was saying that if I will not get darshan of Mahaprabhu, I will become a beggar. Which king speaks like this? Can you give up your green colored Lamborghini car? If you say that today, if I don't attain Krishna today, I will give up my green colored. Can you have guts to speak like this? Maharaj Pratap Rudra was speaking like that. I will give up my whole kingdom. But he could not attain Krishna by his own efforts. By his Ekang, Panchang, Navang, he was not able to achieve. How he attained? By serving the devotees. First service he did was Rai Ramananda. When he saw that Ramananda Rai, the governor of Madras, wants to become a full-time servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, "Go, I will give you full salary without job." In that way, he was encouraging the devotees to serve. So when we encourage others to serve Krishna, that pleases Krishna. And then Krishna and his devotees wanted to do Gundicha Marjan and all those things. The king gave an instruction, whatever they want, as many brooms, as many pots, as much water, as much prasad, as much chandan, as much garland, as many servants did. So those who somehow help in the Krishna conscious projects, those who help other devotees to do their seva, those who help in executing the will or help in distribution of books, they are pleasing Krishna. And it is practical, we can do that. Can you not do it? Is it very difficult? It at least is easier than our 16 nodes. No? Of course, those who are in Haridas Thakur category sages, they will say, "Arey, what you are speaking, you low level Goshtyanandi. I am a Ekanga Bhajananandi." So, of course, with all due respect to all the Bhajanandis, the mode of our parampara is like this. We want to serve each other. And the service, like some sages have pointed out, that it is very difficult to satisfy. Why it becomes difficult to satisfy? Because amanina manadena is difficult. For every service we expect one Mahaprasad garland should come. My name should be written in the wall. Every week everybody should offer me the best khichdi, the best sambar, the best something. I should become the best amongst the best. This kind of feeling comes. Amanina manadena. We have the anxiety of being honored by others. We feel happy by being honored by others. So that is why it becomes difficult to get satisfied in devotee association. Satisfaction comes not by being honored in the association of devotees, but satisfaction comes by giving up sense gratification in the association of devotees. So that should be my major focus. So just like in this verses we see Vyasadeva seemingly missing the point. So when we start missing the point, then we start feeling it is easier to serve my manager rather than serving the devotees. So that is a deeper level of illusion. Please don't go there. No matter how difficult it is to stay with devotees, stay with devotees. If you love me, please cooperate. Otherwise, you'll become a retreat. And then you'll keep filing cases and keep making videos. So yes, so this concludes our discussion here. So Maharaj Pratap Rudra got mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He did his bhakti as much as possible. He did his prayers as much as possible. But only when Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya and Nityananda Prabhu and Ramananda Rai and others went and personally spoke to Lord Chaitanya about him, he got the embrace. So point to be noted, unless and until a pure devotee of Krishna recommends us, it is not possible to gain entrance into the audience of Krishna. So for that we have to serve the devotees. But our mentality says, "Arey bhai, in whole Panathur center there is no pure devotee. So why to serve anybody? Or in whole ISKCON Whitefield, or in whole ISKCON India, or I don't know what Ritwik said. There is no pure devotee, so why should I serve them?" So no, we should not have this mentality. Mentality of a devotee should be, other than me, everybody is pure. Other than me, everybody has to be served. So only in this mentality you can be happy. Otherwise, the judgmental mentality will create a lot of problems. And I'm speaking from personal experience. It is important to always consider yourself as a neophyte and consider others as more advanced than you and try to serve. Then one will be happy, fixed up in the normal condition of service. The Lord will be happy, and we will be happy, and we will all become very satisfied. One prayer, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. I think on Wednesday I was reading this prayer, so I made a note of it. I shared with some devotees. I want to share it here, and I want to conclude my discussion. This is a prayer by Yamunacharya. You know who is Yamunacharya? How many of you have heard the name of Yamunacharya? Please raise your hands. I don't have time to give his history, but this is his prayer. Bhavantam evanucharan nirantaraha prashant nihesh manorathantaraha kadaham aikantika nitya kinkaraha praharshayishyami sanatra devam. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, first chapter, verse number 206. Till this time we were discussing about satisfaction. But Yamunacharya talks about degree of satisfaction also. Which devotee will be 60% satisfied, which devotee will be 80% satisfied, which devotee will be 100% satisfied. How much percentage happiness you want? 60, 80, 100. What do you want? So Yamunacharya is giving some hint. He's saying, by serving you constantly, nirantaraha, not 2 hours in a day, not 4 hours in a day, continuously. By serving you constantly, one is freed from all material desires and is completely satisfied. When shall I engage as your permanent eternal servant and always feel joyful to have such a fitting master? Purport. In his teachings to Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has declared every living entity to be an eternal servitor of Krishna. This is the constitutional normal position of, again the word normal. This is the constitutional normal position of all the living entities. Just as a dog or a servant is very much satisfied to get a competent, perfect master, or as a child is completely satisfied to possess a competent father, so the living entity is completely satisfied by completely engaging in the service of the Lord. He thereby knows that he has a competent master to save him from all kinds of danger. Unless the living entity comes to the guaranteed protection of Krishna, he is full of anxiety. The life of anxiety is called material existence. To become completely satisfied and devoid of anxiety, one must come to the position of constant eternal service to Krishna. How many of you understood what I'm trying to say? 60, 80, or 100? Who will be fully satisfied? Who is every day serving Krishna, constantly serving Krishna, eternally serving Krishna, life after life serving Krishna. Only they will be satisfied. Those who want to serve Krishna only in Janmashtami, or those who want to serve Krishna only on their birthday. You know, some people on the birthday they come to temple. Today is my birthday. So these people will not get complete satisfaction. So we should aspire to become uninterrupted, unmotivated, exclusive, constant servants of Krishna to get complete satisfaction of heart. Otherwise, even if we become as qualified as Vyasdev, dissatisfied. So with that, I rest my submission here. I felt it was very personal for me because I'm also very dissatisfied in life. I want to become 100% satisfied. So I'm trying to work towards it. I know that the best which I do is not good enough for me. Until unless there's no hope for me to come to my normal condition of service until I get the blessings of the sages of Panathur. So all of you can bless me by chanting Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments? I don't know if we have time for all that.
We'll take two questions from